Hey guys, I got to address something here from Dan Sullivan, which is a senator from Alaska. This is very important news, guys. Senate passes Sullivan Murkowski Alaska Salmon Research Task Force. Washington. The U.S. Senate this week voted unanimously to pass the Alaska Salmon Research Task Force Act. The Alaska Salmon Research Task Force Act, legislation introduced by Senators Dan Sullivan and Lisa Murkowski, both Republicans from Alaska, that would form a panel of Alaska salmon stakeholders and research experts, stakeholders, okay, which would be the fishing industry, to study Pacific salmon trends and create a coordinated research strategy for Pacific salmon in Alaska to support robust salmon runs. Now, that would be led to believe that there's already a robust run. No, that they wouldn't make this legislation if there wasn't an issue. Okay, there's a huge issue with the salmon numbers. And it has been for many years. And I'll tell you who's been showing it, which is Kevin Blanch and his small group along all the rivers that run along the West Coast. They outline that the salmon goes out to sea for 5 years. They then come back to the rivers, and that's when they spawn. So year after year, the 5 years previously are the salmon that were born 5 years ago and are coming back to the rivers, while the other ones stay out to sea. We notice a huge decline 5 years after Fukushima occurred. Huge decline, and steadily it has been declining year after year. And all the numbers year after year have been presented by Kevin Blanch. Okay? The research task force would be directed to conduct a comprehensive review of Pacific salmon science relevant to understanding salmon returns in Alaska and publish a report within 1 year of convening to provide recommendations identifying knowledge and research gaps and further research priorities for salmon in Alaska. Salmon are a fundamental part of life in Alaska. Our families, our communities, our economy, and our cultural traditions, said Senator Sullivan. In recent years, Alaskans have witnessed shocking and unprecedented declines among some salmon species in parts of the state, while in other parts, runs have been strong and historic. This is nonsense. We know that they haven't been. They're misspeaking about all this. Many have speculated on the causes of these declines, but all Alaskans can agree. We need to identify and address research prioritization gaps with comprehensive data and the best scientific minds, including indigenous communities that have harvested salmon for millennia. I want to thank my Senate colleagues for passing this legislation to expand our understanding of this challenge so we can realize increased abundance and stability in our salmon stocks for the benefit of all Alaskans. Right. So the indigenous people have noticed a huge decline. And while they lie, saying that certain parts are historic and elsewhere, there are major declines. This is a fallacy. They are trying to pull the wool over your eyes. They can no longer hide the fact that all the fishing, every single bit of fishing, has had major issues in the last 10 years since Fukushima occurred. And on top of it, we're moving into a different solar cycle, which is causing the magnetics to change on the planet, which is causing the fish and the whales and everything else along that chain to change. The UV is different, the ozone is different, the jet streams are starting to change. And most of you are blind to all of it. All of it. There's very few people that understand the writing on the wall. We see this. and none of you are paying attention to it. Wake up, people. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.